Mike Kennedy, Director of Operations at Russo Lawn and Landscape.
Mike, what do you do on a daily basis?
To start the day, I'll meet with the 3 field supervisors. We'll go over a plan for the day, set up the crews. After the crews leave, we'll then look at the week and make sure we have everything in place so that we can run efficiently.
All right, and how does your position help the company or benefit the company?
I feel for my position, I'm able to schedule out 6 months in advance so that the account managers, the guys selling the work, will know what is available for man hours, what's available for equipment, and how we can just keep the ball rolling to get work done, services done throughout the year.
All right, and let's see, what's the most important task you feel that you have at this company?
Communication and coaching of the field supervisors and all the crews that are out in the field.
What interests you with production management?
Production management, that's a tough question. Something that would interest me is the hands-on out in the field, being with the guys to show how to do things and how to work in landscaping.
All right, now taking in a specific job or specific task that the company is given, think of a very large property or project that the company is given, and what would you do from start to finish to either plan it out, budget, put specific guys with specific equipment at the job, and just to get the final product done?
The way that we do it here is the account manager will sell a job, and if the proposal is accepted, he will have a meeting with the field supervisor, myself, and the other account managers. We'll then talk about the job, what it entails, what's the goal of the job, and then what equipment will be needed. That'll give us the time to say, okay, we can fit this in the schedule 2 weeks in advance, and here's what we're gonna have to do. Then we have to start discussing, do we want material delivered directly? Do we wanna bring stuff in? Is there a need for a subcontractor? All the other things that you have to start thinking about. But I think as each year goes by and more experience for the field supervisors, they know how to communicate with account managers, and we just run efficiently that way.
All right, and now taking all that into effect, what's the most challenging part of your job?
The most challenging is what we just discussed, communication. I think if everyone is able to communicate and talk about what is needed, and there's nothing left as a surprise, once the crew gets on the job, they're able to execute that efficiently and hit the goal that we want, and then we can profit.
Keeping names disclosed, has there ever been a failure of a job or someone at fault, and how would you get around the problem or fix the problem, whether it'd be budgeting, jobs not getting done, people not showing up, or any other problem that you can think of?
I want to say the biggest failures we'll have are new jobs sold that are for the season in the green contract, so servicing mowing, and we underestimated it, or our hand was forced to underbid it so we could win that job. Then we'll have 3 years to figure out how do we cut costs, how do we save time so we can actually make a profit on this, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
And now you said how someone offers or requests Russo for some service, and you go see the job site. How would you budget that area, or how does the process go about you budgeting the area or the property that has to be serviced?
I think the way the account managers work on this, if it's closer to the shop and it fits in the schedule with an existing mowing contract, and we can put it on that route, that's how we can figure out, okay, we could do it for this price a lot cheaper. But if it's something that's, say, out in New Britain all alone, that's where it would cost more for us, and we'd have to bid it a little higher.
All right, and last thing I'm going to ask you is, what is the importance of the men or the crew members meeting budgets, and then some of the problems that happens when they exceed budgets?
We try not to only be driven by the budget, because in the past, some of our failures, if you only go by the budget, your quality is going to be down. Guys are going to rush through the jobs. Guys are not going to put in that extra effort. And what happens then is we'll keep a contract for a year, then we'll lose it because the quality is so low. I think what we try to do is we try to focus on, here's an estimate what we think you're gonna work in the springtime. Let's try to hit this hour, but if you go over, that's okay. That's why the field supervisors are out there, to make sure quality is there and the guys are being efficient, moving around and getting the job done.
All right, and can you give an idea of how many trucks, how many pieces of equipment that you actually have under your belt and who you control?
I know what we have for a fleet, so if you're asking what size we have for
Yeah, give an
mowing,
example of, you know, who works under you, who you have to control, what you have to control, and have an idea of, you know, how you manage to do all that. Like give them a number.
So for mowing, we have 15 two-man crews. We have 2 mulch crews that run bark blowers. We'll have 4 upsell crews that'll either do planting, edging of beds, or anything like that. And then we have 2 FERC crews. That's all the services that pretty much we control during the green season. But along with that, we'll have production support, where they're either delivering products, delivering machines, and that's 3 different guys. And then there's 1 irrigation guy.
All right, and is there anything else you want to say to the class, or any, you know, last, you know, observations that you have or experiences that you've had that can either benefit them and their knowledge, or give them a better understanding of what it's like in an actual business?
You have to learn how to coach guys. You have to learn how to communicate what you want completed for the day, the week, and the month. But I think the biggest thing is trying to focus on having guys know what their lane is and to stay in their lane. And it's very difficult to do as you get into the season and you have questions all over. If everyone just runs off and does their own thing, you're not going to be efficient, you're not going to be profitable.
All right, well, thank you, Mike. Class, I hope you enjoyed.